If you're running paid social in 2026, you've probably felt it. Campaigns are harder to measure, targeting feels less predictive, and what used to work suddenly looks risky. And the truth is, it's not just you. The entire marketing landscape is shifting because privacy is no longer optional. It's built into how platforms operate, how people behave online, and how regulators enforce the rules. In this video, we're breaking down what marketers can and can't do anymore on social platforms and how to adapt without losing performance. So, what's changed and why does it matter? For years, digital marketing was powered by behavioral data. Platforms tracked users across apps, devices, and websites. We built campaigns around hyper specific targeting, perfect attribution, and endless retargeting. But that era is fading. Not because marketing stopped working, but because consumer expectations changed, platforms changed, and enforcement got real. Most people are concerned about how companies use their personal data, especially when AI is involved. That's a trust issue, not just a legal issue. And the big takeaway is simple. The old system prioritized performance first and transparency last. In 2026, that's no longer defensible. So let's talk about what's happening on the platforms themselves. Meta. So Meta is still dealing with the long-term impacts of Apple's app tracking transparency. Less opt-in tracking means less signal, right? So Meta is filling the gaps using aggregated and modeled data like aggregated event measurement, which means you still get results, but the attribution becomes less exact. And there's a bigger shift here. Meta has expanded how it uses data to improve ad recommendations, including interactions with its AI assistant across Facebook and Instagram. That's huge because it expands the personalization footprint while raising new questions about what users think they're sharing versus what platforms actually can use. Now, Google. Google's story is different, but just as important. Google originally planned to eliminate third-party cookies in Chrome, but in 2025, they shifted to a user choice model instead. So that just means that cookies aren't just on or off. Users increasingly decide what they allow. So the future isn't really just one big shutdown. It's uneven, gradual, and unpredictable. Now, for the good news. Privacy first doesn't mean that marketing is dead. It just means that the boundaries moved. So here's what marketers can do, and it's still extremely effective. Segment using first-party data with clear opt-ins, email lists, customer lists, CRM data, lead forms. When the user knowingly gives it to you, it's usable. Personalized data on declared preferences or on-site behavior. So when someone clicks on something, what they read, what they request, that's legitimate personalization. You can use automation inside consented systems. So automated follow-ups, nurture flows, lead routing, campaign optimization. That's all fine when the data source is clean. And of course, you can measure performance using aggregated reporting and modeled conversions. You won't always get the perfect tracking, but you can still measure directly and make good decisions. Build remarketing audiences tied to owned platforms. Retargeting isn't dead, but infinite stalking across the internet absolutely is. Now, here's what's getting riskier. Firstly, buying third-party lists with unclear consent. Even if it works, it can wreck deliverability and trust. Enriching profiles using scraped or inferred data. Just because you can infer someone's intent doesn't mean that you should. Endless cross-platform retargeting. Consumers hate it. Platforms restrict it. It's a short-term win, but a long-term downside. Personalizing ads using sensitive inferred attributes. This is where you cross into creepy territory and potentially enforcement risk. Treating compliance like a workaround. Privacy isn't a trick, it's a policy and a trust issue. And here's the reality. Some tactics fail now, not because they're ineffective, but because they're no longer defensible. So if you're marketing in 2026, your job isn't to collect more data, It's to build a system that performs within privacy constraints. Because the brands that win aren't the ones who track the most, they're the one who earns the most trust and still execute. In the next video, we're breaking down the biggest tension in social media today: AI audience optimization versus consumer privacy, and where that ethical line actually is.